Hey everybody, Burke Franklin here. I am back with another episode of how to trim your sago palms. Today I'm going to show you a little bit more than I showed you last time, which is we're going to remove some pups off of the base of at least one sago, maybe two, and I'll just kind of describe why I take them off and why I leave them on sometimes. But also going to show you something that in my last video I was showing you one of my sagos that had split into two, and it's had some new developments, I must say, that I just discovered actually just now. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of what's going on with that particular plant towards the end of this video. Anyway, so let's get started here. This particular sago, oh, there's my shadow. Hey everybody, let me see if I can get some better light. So we've got this, the pups. These are what we call pups. You might have plants that have much bigger amounts of growth down here at the base of your sago. I mean, you could end up with some of these pups. They can pop out up here. They can pop up almost wherever. These particular ones are down towards the base. But if you look closely, I'm gonna put my gloves on here because otherwise I'll get stuck. But these are actually just coming straight out of the side of the plant here. And so you might want to know what to do with these. Do you want to leave them? Do you let them grow? Do you take them off? I actually like the look of them for a certain period of time until they get too big. This one back here is getting to the point where it's probably a little bit bigger than I like. So I'm going to remove that one, and I'm going to trim these other ones up here. So when you're trimming these, basically we're just going to do the same thing that we do with the top growth, and we're just trimming these out a little bit. And I trim them because that's how I like them. If you might like them to be a lot more growth down here, and if you do like that look, you can leave them. We're going to pull these weeds out of here at the same time, but I like to keep them a little bit cleaner because really as the plants get a little bit older, these pups develop quite frequently. So these smaller ones here, I am going to clean these up, get these out of the way. And so now we get to the bigger plant here. And so I think the first thing I'm going to do, and we have options with this, we could trim this and leave it. In fact, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to trim this up like maybe I really wanted to leave it, just to see what would it look like if it was actually trimmed up nicely. So I'm going to do that. And we're just trimming all this around here. I'm taking my glove off because my camera won't work with my hand touching the lens when I have a glove on. So anyway, and then again, here you can see another example. There's another one growing up over here. There's really not much reason to have too many unless you like the look. So what I've done here, I'm going to step back away and decide, do I like that look? Do I not like that look? I still think that this particular one right here is too big. And so then the question is, how am I going to get rid of it? Well, at this size, I can literally pull it off of the plant. Once it gets a lot bigger, and they get huge. Once they get too big, you might have to use a trowel. I mean, you could use something like this here to pry them off. I've had them so big that you have to use a shovel. In this particular case, you can see how it moves around, and it just comes off. It comes off that easy. So what are we left with? We're left with that thing right there, which will not leave too big of a scar on the tree. That will dry up. You won't even notice in a while that there was a plant there. And so what do we have here? Now we've got this little sago. Basically, it's a little nut. We have a choice. You could and we have a spider. But we have a choice that we could plant it, and it will grow. So we could do that. We could throw it away. You could do almost anything you want. But in this particular case right now, I just want to show you how do we remove them, and it's just that simple. So we'll put that, maybe we'll put that in our bucket right here. And it's a nice all bucket. These other ones here, they're not so big, and I think I'm going to leave them because I like the look of them. So moving on, we'll just pick that mess up later. We're not going to do anything with those. We're going to leave those. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. This is Thanksgiving Day, in case you're wondering what part of the year it is or what season. This was another one right here that I did not trim this year. When I was trimming all the other ones, I kind of left this one so you can see how much growth it actually has. It's got multiple layers of fronds, which I thought I would leave it this year just to like kind of let it be nice and filled. But that's 2 seasons of growth on this particular plant compared to something like this, which was trimmed back when the new fronds were coming out. And so this is another plant right here where we're going to decide what do we want to do. We've got these pups growing out from the bottom, and so I think what we're going to do, I think all we'll do here, and again, I like to take care of the base of these plants also. One, it'll keep the plant healthier. It'll allow all the energy to go to the growth of the plant up in here, as opposed to down here where I really don't want it. So I'm just going to trim these up, I think. We'll trim these. This one I might just even remove all of these. And what'll happen is, when it gets new fronds again, probably March or April, this will come up with new fronds right here, and eventually I'll end up pulling this out eventually. And sometimes they come from so deep you have to dig down and pull it out. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. In fact, it's super easy. This one again, I might leave. I'll leave a couple little fronds just because I like the way it looks. And we're gonna leave this plant just like that. We'll leave it like that. This one, you can see this is a much younger, plant right here, but it's a good example of what happens. You can see even this plant right here, it's really windy. Oh, you can see the palm trees are blowing. I picked a windy day for this, but anyway, so you can see that they grow those pups, and they'll always just keep coming. So you can take them off this season. You know, it'll take a couple years for them to grow back if you decide you want them. You know, again, here is another one growing. It's got a little bit of scale on there, and you can trim these little, but you don't have to be worried about these. There's really not that much reason for these to be on here. I'm not looking, so I might just pull this one off. So there it is, and I do a little twist on it. Done. It's off. Here's a whole bunch of, here's a little grouping of little ones right here. Those are also going to grow, but for right now I'm just going to leave them. They're not sucking too much energy out of this plant, so I'm going to leave those and move on to show you something that's kind of exciting. That's not what I was going to show you, but I was just checking this one out here. This one will be fine. So I'm going to bring you back to the plant that we showed in my last video where it was splitting off, and it's that one right there. So if you saw my last video, if you haven't seen my last video, you should go back, check it out, look at it. You can see this one has a lot of growth down here in the bottom too. I'll probably cut that out, but not on today's camera. But this is the plant that had split off into two. And so it's hard for you to see, but there's one that went off that way and one that went off that way. And you'll see that in my last video. But a new development has happened, I think, and that is this plant is actually splitting into more than two. So I can see the center. Here's one center right here. So there's one center. You can see where the fronds would come out. Here is a second center right there. And down here, off to the right in the front of this plant, if I come down here, maybe I get a better look. I think we're getting a third one. I think that this is a third one right here. 1, 2, and 3 all the way back there. I believe this is now split into 3. We really won't know for sure probably until next season when it gets new fronds. If I see 3 heads coming out with new fronds, that will be pretty cool. I will definitely, I'll definitely show you that if that's happening. Another thing I wanted to show you just really quick since I've got you. This right here, which doesn't look very exciting at all, just to give you an idea of how big this is. It's not huge, but for this type of a cycad, it's I believe it's Spanish Sago. Anyway, the fronds are a little bit different than the other ones that I've been showing you. This plant has had no fronds now for probably 12 years, 13 years. And I refuse to say that it is dead. So I'm been continued to be taking care of it. Up in here, this area seems to be balling up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it changes shape over time. And so I've continued to keep hope up that someday this thing is going to sprout new fronds. And it will be really cool if that happens. But anyway, never give up on these things. These things are prehistoric plants. They were survivors. So I believe that that is going to be a survivor. We'll see. We'll find out. You never know. But anyway, that is about all I have for you on this episode of Trimming Your Sago. And I hope that it's been helpful, maybe a little informative, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified when new videos come out. If you have any comments, leave them. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up. Appreciate it, and I will see you next season.